So, hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek News here at ACD Games Day with Kristen Looney, looking at prototype or advanced production copy of Fluxx the board game, which is, as we see, you don't have the date on the sign here. Do you want July?
July 26th.
July 26th.
Yeah, in stores everywhere on July 26th.
Okay, so already when I see Fluxx the board game, I mean, I have to admit, first off, I'm a Fluxx fan. I already know this. I mean, immediately when I heard this, I'm just like, I flash back to the days of me playing bunkers for I don't know how long with my brother. And immediately I'm just like, okay, I want to see it because bunkers already, if you played,
I haven't.
You haven't. It's an old Parker Brothers game, which makes me think of Fluxx the board game, where you're moving, you're rolling dice, you're moving around the board, and you put down tiles that let you move back and forth.
Interesting.
And so it's again different every time you play, every time you change. So I want to.
Well,
I already mentioned that here.
You'll tell me how much like bunkers it really is.
It doesn't look at all like bunkers, but
So,
all right.
okay,
We got some cool pieces, and we got some tiles.
So it's 2 to 4 players. So everybody has a color, and there are actually these cards that tell you what color you are. So let's say that you're red and I'm green, and that can change because there are cards that change pretty much everything that goes on in the game.
That's right. You have to expect that.
Right. So but everybody gets a color, and then you have 3 of these little meeples of different types for your color. So if you're red, then you are these little red guys here, and I'm these green guys here. And so what I'm trying to do, the ultimate goal of the game, is to collect goals. And how many goals you collect can change. You can see we have these 2 little pegboards here. The goal pegboard has a stack of goals on it, and so these are the goals that you're trying to collect. This one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And you can peek, just like Fluxx, you can look at the cards. But you can only do the top one at a time. We're starting the game here saying that you need to get 4 goals, but again, that can change, like everything else can change. The rules pegboard lay out the rules. And so with Fluxx, you have draw and play. Now we also add move. Okay, so
the ham limit worked in as well.
Number you play, number you move. So at the beginning of the game, before we start, each person is going to get a chance to move one of these pegs. So we don't start at a basic rule set all the same every time. Everybody gets to pick whichever favorite one they like to do. And I usually like to actually do either the rotate or the uproot, because those are special ones that nobody, that are different and fun. And I like, so rotate means you get to take a tile and rotate it in place anywhere you want. Uproot means you get to pick it up and move it someplace else. Even if there's already pieces on it, you can uproot it and move it over here, which is really great. If you're trying to get your piece to the brain, I'd have to march all the way along the board to get there, or I can use one of my moves to uproot this over here. That's 1 move, 2 moves. So in 2 moves, I managed to get to the brain because I used that uproot. So usually when I start at the beginning, I'm going to toggle one of these, just because I like those actions. So
special powers. Special powers are always good.
So let's pretend we're playing. I'm gonna move my peg to here. You can move any one of them. Please don't use the hand limit, because don't be that guy. Unless you are that guy, then you can be that guy. It's here for you if you're that guy. Right. But oftentimes the move, because it's good to be able to do some moves.
That's right.
So the play of the game, we have 4 different card types in the deck. Everybody's going to have 3 cards, and they're going to draw and play and then move. You're trying to get your meeples over to whatever is here. So the current goal is chocolate and cookies. So with only 3 movements, you can't get everywhere you need to get.
Right.
But let's say, let's pretend I have a hand of cards here. Let's say I have this in my hand, this in my hand, this in my hand. Okay, so I'm trying to get to chocolate and cookies. So I only have 3 moves. I get to draw 1, and I get to play 1, but I don't have enough moves to get all the way over to both chocolate and cookies, right? But let's see this. I have a card called a leaper. This one is chocolate. There's one for every one of the icons in the game, which represent the keepers from Fluxx. These are now leapers here. Those icons are on the table, and that's where I'm trying to go to get my goal. So for my 1 play, if I play this card, that is going to mean that, let's see, I'm green, so I can take my green piece wherever it is on the board and move it directly to chocolate. Okay, that doesn't count as one of my moves. That was my play.
Right.
So I'm now halfway there, but still, you leave from here. So it would take me, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to cookies, and I only have 3. So I can't get there, except rotate is on. So I can use one of my moves to rotate this tile.
Any.
Like that.
Okay.
So that's one move. I have 3 total moves. I get 2 more moves. So
Gets you right there.
2, 3 gets me to chocolate milk, and I would take this and put it in front of me.
Okay.
So you need to get 4 to win the game. And once you get a goal, it's yours. It can't be taken away from you, which makes it a little bit more strategic. The movement of the boards, and there's a lot more going on than just in the card game.
So what are some of the other card types or plays?
Okay, so there are 4 card types. There's actions. That are just one-time use, kind of do what it says. Like, for example, Burst of Speed says add 3 moves for this turn only. So then you might be able to get where you need to go, it's halfway across the board. Draw 2 and use them. Some of them are traditional Fluxx cards that you'll recognize that make sense and that work. Some of them are, shuffle hands, similar to that kind of thing. So a whole bunch of different action cards that you can play and do fun stuff with. The new rules are in the game, but instead of piling up and being the rules that you follow, they're for the pegboard. So the rules are on this pegboard, and I might play, new win number would move this one, smaller limit would move the hand limit, toggle uproot changes that one, play one more. So if you play the card play more, then the play peg moves, and this just goes in the discard pile, and now the rules are different for everybody. So it's still
a little more centralized in how you track everything.
Centralized, easier to keep track of in that sense. So then there's, of course, the leapers, which I already showed you how those work, and there's one for every one of them in here, plus a few extra fun ones, like any octagon.
Okay.
So
I was going to ask about the octagon.
Boards, yeah, so each board has 3 of the icons and an octagon, except for 2 special ones here that are these portal spaces. Okay? So, and those boards only have 2 plus an octagon and a portal. If you move your piece onto a portal, you immediately come back outside the other one. Right now they're pretty close to each other, but if they're, if this gets uprooted, over here, now it lets me go halfway across the board through that portal space. This leaper is a very powerful leaper because it says I can take any one of my pieces, any one of the octagons all over the board wherever I want. There's also one that lets you go directly to a portal. So those are the leapers. And then there's the goal cards. So and you might have goals in your hand that you'll play out. So you might have a goal, in your hand that you're trying to get to, and then you use one of your plays to put it down and immediately take it. Or you might just, depending on the rules, sometimes you have to play more cards than you want. So you might have to put out goals that cover up the ones that everybody else is working towards, so that it's longer before, even if they were working on something and I played a couple of goals, now that thwarts them just because I've covered that up, but by the time their turn comes, and so there's a lot of that same kind of constantly changing dynamic. But that's pretty much it. There's 4 different card types. There's the boards.
And you mentioned as well, these colors can change as well.
Yeah,
so
there's action cards that will shake up, or I think there's like 2 of them. There's one that shuffles them, and one that, or maybe it rotates. I don't know. It's like brand new. I haven't played it very much yet. But
I mean,
there's a couple of cards in there.
You can imagine what it would be.
Yeah. So there's one that trades colors, and I think one that either rotates or shuffles. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
So probably rotate. I don't know. So let me think. What else? What did I miss? That's it. It's a dynamic, ever-changing board game.
So how did this come about in terms of, was it retailer request or you?
It started, Josh, one of my employees, just happened to just say to Andy one day that he had this vision or this something, he had just he heard it in his head of the word Fluxx the board game, and Andy's immediate reaction was, shut up you, or you shut up, or whatever. But of course then he immediately started designing it in his head, and it, evolved from there. But we've been working on it for about a year, play testing and refining, and it is now at the printer. It will be in stores July 26th.
All right.
So we're very excited about it.
Is there anything else to talk about in terms of what's new or what's out? You keep rolling along.
We're working on a party game for this fall, but it's not really ready to show yet. Find us at the next convention, and we'll tell you all about that one. We are not actually going to be at Gen Con in person. So the board game will be there for sale at lots of different retailers. But we will not actually, Andy and I are not going this year. So hopefully next year. I hope very much to be back at Gen Con next year in 2014, not 13. So.
Well, thanks for the overview.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thanks for promoting your games.